Very pleasant. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a Wednesday edition of the Defo Show. Jeff DeForest. We've got Mike Lubie Lubitz. We're ready to roll. We do a little old school later on with Tony Segreto. Tony Segreto, iconic. Is it fair to call him iconic? I just saw something. I sent it to Tony. Where in 1981, I believe, he was interviewing what was relatively young Joe Rose. Not relatively young. I mean, he
Really?
wasn't young Joe Rose. He was like a kid.
That's
That
classic.
was Tony Segreto conducting the interview. Joe was always very serious back then, although he was amenable to doing interviews. He did like to talk, as evidenced by the fact that he's still doing it on the airwaves and doing a great job. Had a very successful run. After starting out, I believe he was making $25 a show at WIOD way back in the day. Even before I got there, I think Joe was like a sub on WIOD. 25 bucks a crack. Wasn't necessarily any path that you would have anticipated would lead to the levels of broadcasting achievement that Joe has accomplished. But you could see the seeds being planted there in this interview that Tony Segreto did. So I don't know. I kind of wish we could dig that up. I think in the future we'll be able to put this kind of stuff on the show. In fact, you'll find out more about that tomorrow, Lubie. But nonetheless, it was a classic. So he'll be joining us, Tony. I don't know if he recalls that interview. We'll see if he remembers anything about it. Had to be at like St. Thomas University, where I mean, I still can't get over it. I just distinctly remember looking around and going, "F, I'm lost," thinking I had lost my way. I this predated, of course, the GPS devices, and they sent me to go and cover the Dolphins training camp, which was getting underway. I think I got the job, my first job there, sometime in either August or late July. So going to training camp. Back then, I think they played 6 preseason games, Louis. Can you imagine 6? I mean, you talk about having to muddle your way through a bunch of crap. Imagine covering 6 preseason games in anticipation of the 14-game regular season. Just absolutely insane. But I just remember thinking how lost I was because I could not believe that a professional sports franchise
Yeah.
was training at a facility of this level of quality. And now the field was nice. Shula made sure of that. But the locker room, literally, I think Papillon had better accommodations those 2 stints he did in solitary. But good to be with you guys. Of course, Winter Olympics going. I think we can probably move on from the Super Bowl postscript. You got pitchers and catchers reporting, a lot of baseball activity. The New York Post, my New York Post, really dives deeply into baseball. So there are still baseball cities, Lubie, although we barely get mentioned in any capacity. I did see this. The Colorado Rockies, did they not come in the same year
Yes.
as the Marlins? Same year?
Yes.
Okay, so the Rockies and the Marlins had like a little bit of a
It
parallel.
was the Rays and the Diamondbacks and the Rockies and the Marlins, from what I remember.
As I recall, yeah, because there was always this interesting thing. 2 teams would come in via baseball expansion, and each one would have a little bit of a different approach, a different philosophy. I remember when the Mets came around in 1962, the Houston Colt 45s, now the Astros, were the other expansion team that came into existence. And the Colt 45s got all these young players, and they were going to go with an approach that they were going to start from scratch and build and figure it's going to take some time. And the Mets got all these old geezers. It was the geezers at Caesars. They had like Duke Snyder, I think, batting third for them. He was 100 years old. But they wanted to have a little bit of star appeal
Mhm.
because of the fact that they were playing in New York, and they were horrible, 40 and 120, just unbelievable. The Marlins, they had kind of a mixed bag. Louis, do you remember early Marlins baseball? You were kind
I
of
do very well. Chris Hammond eggs. Chucky Carr. I loved Pat Rapp.
Pat Rapp.
David Weathers.
David Weathers was like
I
the
know.
fifth starter.
I know that Brett Barbary. I love Brett Barbary. Yes,
People love Barbary. They like Jillian Barbary, for the wife.
Junior Felix. Yes, I know the entire that expansion team very well.
Junior Felix, not the niftiest of players with the glove. He
There's
made
no-
Canseco look like a slick fielding right fielder. He made Canseco look like Roberto Clemente out there, or Dewey Evans. Unbelievable. But yeah, the Rockies, the reason I bring this up is because the Rockies are minus 400 coming into the season. I was looking over, perusing some odds, trying to get some kind of indication as to what the so-called analytics say about these various teams coming into the season and whether or not there's even a reason to have the slightest glimmer of hope
Mm.
that your home team is going to be any good. It doesn't appear like there's a lot of respect for this Marlins team, which had a remarkable season last year. You would have to think that that was a big stepping stone. But what have they done since?
Nothing. They've done nothing. That's the problem.
Nothing. Right. They picked up a pitcher the other day that had like a 5.25 ERA last year, but eats up a lot of innings. When you're getting these guys that just like to put them out there because they can eat up innings, they're not going to be particularly effective. They're not necessarily going to help you win games, but they're just going to gobble up innings because you don't have anybody else. Those are the kind of acquisitions that you look at with a little bit of a curious eye. Like, is this team really trying to win? And you would have to say no. But the Rockies are minus 400. You have to lay 400 to win 100 if you're betting that the Rockies will have the worst record in Major League Baseball this year. So there's not much hope there. The Marlins on that slate are 35 to 1 to have the worst record in Major League Baseball. White Sox are the second choice at 7 plus 700. So you're getting 7-1 on the White Sox. You have to lay 400 on the Rockies. That's how bad they're anticipated to be. How long have they been stuck in that mode, Lubie? I mean, we complain about the Marlins, but the Rockies seem like they've
Forever.
floundered even to a higher level.
Incredible. I mean,
Incredible.
the Marlins at least have been 2-1 World Series. The funny thing is, the Rockies, talk about two different approaches. The Rockies came out like a ball of fire. Vinny Castilla, Andre, the Big Cat Galarraga, Dante Bichette, three guys that no one really knew how good they were until they came together and had really thin air and mile high. And they were, I think they were either a playoff team early on or contended very early on. And the Marlins struggled for the first few years until they put that roster together over a 2-year span, and then became one of the best teams of baseball for one season. And then a few years later, our guy Dave Dombrowski helped build, before he left, a team that went on to win another World Series. The Colorado Rockies started hot and have never really. I remember them getting Denny Nagel, and I remember they tried with Mike Hampton, and they did different things. They've tried to combat what is really hard to do, a place where you can't pitch. They've tried, but they've really never been able to be consistent. Todd Hill, they've had really good players over the course of their history, but they've never been able to be a consistent winner, or even a winner for a year. Like, I feel like they've made playoffs here and there, but I don't remember them making an LCS ever.
You couldn't throw the curveball there. That was the big thing. Remember they got Mike Hampton from the Mets, a giant free agent acquisition at the time. $120 million contract was outrageous.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a guy that relied heavily, left-hander. Of course, he's using all of this crafty Randy Jones type of stuff, and wasn't necessarily any flamethrower. And the ball, there's nothing worse than the breaking ball that doesn't break, Lubie.
Oh, no.
As soon as you let one go.
It's called the matzo ball.
Meatball City, man. Cafe Monterano. I'll take 2 of those, Stevie.
Exactly.
Could you make sure you put a little extra sauce on the side? Oh, that's an extra charge? You got to be kidding me, man. You wouldn't do that for Barbara Streisand, would you?
You would.
Anyway, so baseball's on the horizon. Very much. I'm looking at like 10 pages of baseball coverage here in the New York Post, and it's not even like a special section. So still alive in a lot of cities. You're not hearing a lot of conversation about it here in South Florida because doesn't it feel like there'll be like just a little bit of regression this year, Lubie? That last year was so exceptional. The Marlins were winning a lot of close games last year. Mm-hmm. Overachieved. You didn't know much about some of these players, but they seemed to come through. They had a decent team chemistry, which they always seem to, because you have a bunch of young guys that otherwise wouldn't be anywhere above AA, or they deserve their chance, which is great. Good to be in that Marlins organization. As long as you realize that you can demonstrate major league ability over a short span and then get the F out of here and go somewhere else. But not a lot of anticipation of any kind of level of accomplishment for the Marlins this year. Dodgers, of course, getting all the attention from the odds makers. And let me see. Marlins to win the NL East, you're getting 40 to 1. Eclipsed by the Nationals at 100 to 1. So the Nationals are another one of those organizations that seems to be floundering at the bottom and seems to be content to do so for the long haul. Rockies are 300 to 1 to win the NL West.
Okay, yeah.
What chance would they have against the Dodgers anyway, huh? Plus you have the Padres, the D-backs, Giants in there.
The Giants are always consistent. The D-backs have become pretty consistent. And the Padres are literally almost as talented as the Dodgers. Like, yeah, I mean, good luck. That division's insane. Right. The division's like the AL East.
We'll see how we do in just embracing some of these long odds on teams that don't figure to do much after the year, because there's nothing better than post-race handicapping, Louis.
Oh, of
It's
course.
always easier to handicap after the race. You have those guys at the track; they're particularly annoying. They come out.
Yeah,
I told you that two couldn't lose. It's like, well, when did you tell me?
you didn't have the two. Why didn't you have the two then, you
Right,
jerk off?
I told you couldn't lose. Post-race handicapping. I did a little post-race handicapping when I saw the results of last night's NBA games.
Oh, yeah.
How would you not have taken the Spurs laying 13.5 against the Lakers, who were playing without LeBron, without Luka Doncic,
Oh, they didn't have either?
and I
Oh,
believe without Reeves also?
they didn't
So
have Luka or LeBron?
their
Oh,
top three guys, I don't know, is Reeves still, Austin Reeves still one of their top guys? He was
yeah, I mean, he would be
really,
their
really
third
made
guy.
a
They don't have anyone else.
surge forward in public recognition last year. No Luka, no LeBron, and LeBron missing this game created a situation where he is not eligible now for the All NBA team because he's missed too many games this year.
I mean, he wasn't good.
And this will be the first time it broke a streak, I think. How many years has he been in the league? He's been on it, I believe, every year, the All NBA team, some form or another. I don't know if it's all his first team, but we'll not earn that distinction this year. I'm not sure what that
This is
means.
the first year where his numbers wouldn't have dictated it. Like the last few years, he wasn't the guy that could carry a team to a finals exactly anymore, but his numbers were. Like his numbers 26 and 9 and 8. Like his numbers were very similar to what he'd put up his entire career.
Yeah.
They were just spread out. He was missing games here and there. And again, the West is just freaking insane. So it wasn't like back in the day in the East when he could just carry a team. But at least his numbers dictate he should be in one of the 3 All NBA teams. His numbers aren't that this year. I mean, he's having a nice year. He's having a good year. He hasn't fallen off a cliff, but he's starting to show, okay, the guy's in his 40s. Like,
Yeah.
and the amount of games he's missing, there you go. Like, he's missing a lot of action. Like, the
Good to
idea,
see you. We were what? We had this question posed to us a couple of times.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not a mind reader.
The
I
idea
don't
he'll come
know
back
what
is
his
done.
name is. Did he come back for another year after this
I
one?
mean, the Lakers are done with him. Like, even supposedly he and Jeannie Buss don't get along at all anymore. So, like,
Okay.
this thing where they keep signing him to 1 year makes no sense. Luke is clearly the guy. They clearly have a young core that is interesting in the West, and that's sort of what's winning now is teams through the draft building young groups and growing together. So, I mean, to me, if you're the Lakers, why put all that money into one guy that? So there'll be a first round. Like, how far do they go? People have them in like the top 5. I'm like, what top 5? I'm like, the top 4 to me.
Brilliant point here about LeBron James.
Sorry. I'm
Okay.
here. The top 4 is pretty set to me when you go with the Thunder, the Nuggets, the Rockets, who people keep forgetting who are a good team, and the Spurs, outside of youth, maybe the best team in the West. They play the Thunder better than anyone. I mean, they dominate the Thunder. Like, those 4 seem pretty set to me. And then again, the T-Wolves are very interesting because Anthony Edwards might be as good as any player in the NBA, right? Like, so when you have a guy of that talent, he's now been in the playoffs a couple times. They've actually surrounded him with the kind of guys, the kind of player, ball handler, facilitator that he needs. Like, the T-Wolves are a nice, interesting wild card. Like, I wouldn't put the Lakers over any of those 5 teams. So, okay, so they fall into that 6 to 8 range. Okay, well, maybe you win a first round. Like, so to me, I don't see them getting out of the first round. So, like, you're paying LeBron all that money. He has become a major distraction because he barely plays, and he doesn't get along with management. What are you keeping him for? Like, to
May as
me,
well
it's
have Kyrie Irving on your roster.
honestly, like, to me, it's just weird. I mean, I guess you try and trade him, but again, at this day and age, where at this level, what are people trading for LeBron? Like, it's not.
He must have some control over that too.
He hasn't gone. Yeah. He hasn't gone out with a whimper or anything. He's been good his whole career, and it really is weird how little credit he gets for how good he's been for as long as he's been. But to me, to stay another year, like to play another year, to go to another franchise, do the Shaq thing, like that's not LeBron. Like, to me, it just doesn't make any, like, go out as hard as you can this year and then call it. Like, I don't understand what he's doing because he's set up his post career better than anyone ever. Like, he's been in movies and production companies and all these things since he was young.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, you've been ready for the post NBA career. Like, what are you dragging it out for?
It's weird too because he doesn't make much mention about what his intentions are after his NBA career. Obviously, he's got all of these business interests, and as you said, he's very much immersed in entertainment, as Kobe Bryant became also. Not an unfamiliar pattern for people that end up playing in Los Angeles and having a long stint there with the Lakers. You thought maybe that was one of his goals, but he hasn't really stated where he's coming from. He's not doing the farewell tour. You would think if this was his last year that mean, does LeBron James mind being celebrated? I don't think so. So I don't know that he's one of those guys that just humbly and quietly goes away at the end of the season and says, "Oh, by the way,
No,
I'm
no,
out of here."
no. That's the only thing.
Right. So you'd think he'd have one more celebratory type of season. Playing well enough. It's not like he's the worst player in the NBA by any stretch of the imagination. But as you said, for a guy that held up, I mean, was as durable as Lou Gehrig and Cal Ripken Jr., this guy all of a sudden, last couple of years, starting to miss more and more time. And it brings up the magic question as we talk a little bit about the Olympics here. And that is there load management in curling? Did you notice that was a pretty compact schedule that they were
Yeah,
having
they were pushing it out there.
every day, man? Like the same people were on the curling. What do you call the field there? I don't even know. What do they call it? The pitch? That's soccer.
Okay, good. I'll look it up.
The
We've talked
board.
about curling in the last 3 days, and I've in my entire life combined. So I'll look it up. I don't know. The rock thing I had sort of heard until I looked it up yesterday, and the rocker stone. I couldn't. I don't know.
You know, there's no disgrace in not knowing all of the terminology of curling. I believe, Lubie, as a sportscaster, you used to pride yourself on knowing everything. People would call in, "Hey, Defo, what do you think about this? And can you define what this injury is for me?" And
Sheet, the sheet. So
it's
like
the sheet.
a curling playing field or sheet, and then it gives me the
Good
measurement.
name for it,
I
actually.
don't give a crap about the
I'm glad you looked that up, Lubie, because now I feel even more comfortable talking about the sport. Well, you know what? Did you see what happened out there on the sheet?
We have a curling club down here. Did you know that? Loggerhead Curling Club is in Palm Beach.
I could see it being an entertaining thing to do. Look, people, you don't see many people playing shuffleboard anymore, do you? Shuffleboard, a thing of the past.
No.
They're all playing pickleball.
Yes.
I went to see some music last night. The guitar players, one of the guitar players, it's always with the band there. He kind of runs the whole show. The great John Yurt, and he's outside after the first set, and he's not coming back for the second set. I'm thinking, Johnny, this is your gig. What's going on? And he had injured himself playing pickleball. He's a big pickleball advocate. He tore his wrist up so badly that he couldn't play the rhythm guitar last night. So
Jesus.
I don't know, and that's all you ever hear about with this game. Correct, Louie? People have all kinds of bizarre orthopedic problems that result from playing pickleball. Why is that?
Because it allows people to be athletic that really shouldn't be athletic anymore, so they still get hurt. Like it's what I think it is. Like it's
Doesn't seem
softer.
like there's not much movement, though. I mean,
There's not, but again, there's still some. You're still upright. Like, and these are
is that an Olympic sport? Summer games now? Pickleball?
at some point it will be 100%. Like
Has to be, right?
we have to just accept it. I mean, yes. I mean, there's leagues everywhere. There's courts everywhere.
Court expansion is insane.
It's not just here;
Exponentially
it's around the country. I mean,
rising everywhere. Yes, everywhere you go, they're tearing down. It's like they tore down the park and put up a parking lot.
Mhm.
They tore down the tennis courts and put up pickleball courts, and they're jammed at all times. I'll be out today playing a little tennis later on this afternoon, and it always amazes me. Never ceases to amaze as I blow by what was recently in the last few years installed about 20 pickleball courts at the Pompano Municipal Park. Jammed. It really is like going to the basket back in the day when I've often talked about where we were at the Merrick Road Park and Dr. J was holding court there, a young Julius Erving. And so everybody wanted to be in that game. That was like the game to be in. And if you lost, as we've often talked about, you had the disgrace of having to go where some guy's shooting with his son who might even be physically handicapped. And you have to, go with your buddy who you came to the park with and say, you guys want to play a little 2-on-2? And you're thinking, wait a minute ago, I was playing with the doctor. Unbelievable. But yeah, the court used to be stacked and there'd be 40 guys waiting to play. And that's kind of how it is with these pickleball courts. Public pick. Have you driven by any time? Like,
yes, they're all freaking jammed. And
you
I
have to sign up. I mean, they have the honor system working in a public park.
and it's a lot of people of different ages, younger people, women, mixed genders, like men and women together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, good for them. Like I can't, the game is weird to me. I still, it's like lazy tennis. And it's like, okay, I'll either play tennis or not. Like or I'll take a walk. I don't understand the game at all, but people love it. So good for them.
ball doesn't bounce, it's dead as a doornail.
Yeah,
You take a Spalding out of the box. Used to buy like a box of them. That was
yeah,
a
and it's,
big treat if you had a box of Spaldings back in the day. And you drop. It's like opening up a can of tennis balls, and you drop the first one on the ground, and it doesn't come back up. And you immediately run back to the clubhouse there or whatever, the administration office, and say, "Hey, can you give me another can of balls? These are dead." You wouldn't
yes,
play with
that's what
them?
it
Yeah.
is. I watched him. I'm like, it's not bouncing.
And he's saying, buy stock in Vlasic. I actually had this discussion with Rock and Jake last night, who makes his own homemade pickles that are
What's going
excellent.
on with pickles? What am I missing? What am I
And I'm
missing?
thinking,
Pickles.
somebody, how has somebody not tied this in yet?
Oh,
Or
because
maybe
of
there
pickle.
is a
Oh,
crossover sponsorship of some pickle manufacturer.
grab your
You just
pickle before you hit the courts.
in a pickle, need a pickle. How does this? Some marketing giant hasn't come along and put this together for them, or would it even make any sense? It would make sense because we found out from Carlos Alcaraz cramping up and then getting this special consideration, which I was very happy about because I love Alcaraz. But same thing with Yannick Sinner. Now Sinner, for some reason, is not seen in the favorable light. Carlos is just more entertaining and more of an outgoing personality. Sinner's
Yeah.
still, it seems like a really decent guy, although he was involved in this drug snafu, which seemed very, very strange. I don't know. Did you follow that story at all? We were talking about it at the time where he ended up having to accept like a 3 month
Oh
suspension.
yeah, but it was for like nothing, right? Wasn't it for like?
They had already supposedly concluded that the ingestion of whatever banned substance it was came about totally without him being responsible or accountable for it. That it was just an absolute fluke that he had traces of this substance in his system when he was tested, and they conclude that he really was not compliant in this, and then they suspended him anyway because they didn't want to look bad. It's kind of like the feds, they have to extract some ounce of blood if they already. Well, you know what? We can't just end this without doing anything, Mister DeForest. And you're like, what? Sure, you can. You're the feds. You can do whatever the hell you want. Unbelievable. Uh, Olympic stuff last night. No fat figure skaters. That struck me, and then I did some research on it. I don't know that there's ever been a successful. I don't mean to be disparaging to fat people.
I think you're on OnlyFans by accident. I think you found some weird fetish. Oh, not weird. Found a fetish because every fetish, I guess, is quote unquote weird.
I'm just amazed at the physiques of these. I mean, it's almost like jockeys, no?
Yes, they're
These
all been
skaters.
proven.
Now, you would have to think with all that spinning around and
Yes,
skating, that there's a high level of exertion. Look how
yes.
exhausted they are after doing pairs ice dancing, breathing like they just came off the cross country skiing sprint race, which I don't know if that's even humane to conduct that. Did you watch this stuff that's going on, the cross country sprint, where they go for like 3 minutes full out?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God.
It's insane.
And they collapse. I mean, as soon as they cross the wire, it takes them a second to realize that they've stopped, and then they just crumple to the ground. Have you watched the finish of any of these races? And you can't blame them. I mean, they're running uphill on skis, Lubie. Who the hell could do this? Not really a common practice in the United States of America. It's no surprise that it helps to be from Norway if you're involved in any kind of cross country skiing event. But and then did you catch this? This was my. I mean, I would have to label it maybe the most compelling and interesting moment of the entire Winter Olympics so far. There's a guy named Legrid, Legreed, or something like that.
Okay.
Sterla Holm Legreed. All right, he won a bronze medal in the 20K biathlon.
Oh, Jesus.
20K biathlon. So what's that? That's like 12 miles of skiing cross country and shooting targets in between. He comes in third, and as he's being interviewed on, I don't know, I think the guy's from Switzerland or something. He's being interviewed on his home country's television broadcast. And out of nowhere, he just confesses that he cheated on his girlfriend, and it's the sorriest week of his life, in spite of the fact that he had this success in the Olympic Games. That he had found the love of his life, and he cheated on her. And he reveals this on what would be for him national TV. I don't know, Louis. Could you ever see yourself doing that? You were too honest in relationships, though. You would never have cheated on. I
In
guess.
life, I've dabbled when it wasn't serious, but once something serious now, I just
Yeah, yeah.
this was wrong. First of all, once I'm dedicated to someone, I don't really see anyone else, and I'm not being cheesy. That's just who I am.
Yeah, makes sense.
Also, the idea of hurting someone I care about, because I've always lived life, the golden rule crap. I really do live that way. Like I try to treat people the way I want to be treated. So like, wow, being cheated on, I've had it happen to me is the worst feeling. Like, so why
Well,
would I
we've
want
seen
to do that to
many
someone?
breakdowns though in post-event interviews in sports, and we've seen people just completely fall apart and have
Oh
to
yeah,
explain why.
yep.
But I don't know that I've ever seen a guy admit on
Oh, he admitted. Oh,
television, yeah, that he cheated on his girlfriend.
oh, he admitted. Oh
Yes,
no, oh no.
this is
I'm,
what
I'm,
he,
I'm like,
out of nowhere, he just starts talking about it.
like, why are we talking about this? I'm like, we having a come to Jesus moment in the middle of the show. I'm like, what do we do? Oh no! Oh no! No, that I
Shows
would
you
never do.
how utterly exhausting this cross-country skiing's gotta
He
be.
was so tired. He's like, "I did it, Joni."
It was like a Perry Mason episode, it really was, where,
God.
guy's about to go to the chair for a crime he didn't
Oh
commit,
my
and then
God.
in a moment of conscience, after planning and executing this absolutely heinous, despicable crime, the guy gets up in the back of the courtroom just as the gavel's coming down on a guilty verdict and says, "I can't stand it anymore. I did it." Like,
I'm
what?
sorry. Yeah,
Perry,
I'm,
man, you,
I'm a good dude. I would not do that. Like, I would keep it. You either take it to the grave, or because to me that's just being selfish. Like, if you do the cheating, you're telling them just to you feel better. You're just making them more mad.
oh,
And
he was regretting the fact that he lost this girl over this incident,
in the
and
middle of an interview, like,
out of nowhere, like, "Hey, how was the snow out there today? Were the conditions conducive to your style of cross country skiing? And what about those targets? Were they placed in a particularly difficult position?" I can't believe it. I mean, it was Jimmy Swagger.
yeah, exactly.
Although Swagger, we all knew that he had done this. So
It's
come
a
on, Jimmy,
scumbag. Yeah,
talk about confessing after the fact. Unbelievable. All right.
exactly.
So that was one of the highlights of the Olympic Games for me. The American team, the mixed doubles curling team, ended up falling by a single point, 6-5 to what was that? Was that Sweden?
I think it
The
was Sweden. I think it
Sweden.
was.
Okay. Now, why is this? When did this change, Luby? Remember when they used to compute who won the Olympics in terms of country with the most medals? They used to do like a five. Didn't they do a 5-3-1 point system, which would make perfect sense, wouldn't it? Why should it only be contingent on gold medals and not overall performance, Luby? Does
I
this
don't know.
bother you like it bothers me? It really.
Yeah, you've talked about this before, and it is a little weird. Like, especially in the Winter Olympics, because we're not great at the Winter Olympics.
Your
So
20 bronze medals mean nothing. You can't even get a single point for them.
garbage. Like, it's like football talk, where if you don't win the championship, you don't matter as a quarterback, which clearly isn't true, because the quarterback's one of 11 guys on offense and one of 22 people who play at some point in a game. Like, gold is an amazing standard. It's great to win gold, but getting to be top three in the
Why
world
do you discount the other people? Yes.
is pretty
Exactly.
cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling you right now, I don't have a friggin' bronze. like that's amazing. Just being in the Olympics for most people is an honor. Like, so you to get there and be on the medal and hear, I guess you only hear the anthem if you go, but like to be there in the podium or whatever. Like, well, yeah, it's weird. I mean, look, it's probably especially in the winter. We suck at the Winter Olympics, but we probably can get gold in a lot of things. So we're like,
Well,
oh,
there are a
gold.
couple of those trick snowboarders that are going over the gates and all of that stuff. We usually have a few good ones in that category. It's not like the Americans. All these kids from Colorado, man, and they all seem to be super cool. Libby.
Yeah,
If
they're
you were
good.
on an Olympic team, wouldn't you be just like trembling with nerves?
Oh yeah, they're losing it.
They're like it's nothing. It's amazing the way they go about their business. So yeah, that part of it is always impressive to me. I did have another thought struck me yesterday on the Walk of Life. This whole Lindsey Vonn thing. It's impossible to conceive that this was just a vanity move on the part of Lindsey Vonn. It may have been physically ill-advised. She still claims, and this has become more succinct, at least in terms of her interpretation of it, that the knee injury had nothing to do with what happened to her in this particular spill. But when you have that image of what essentially was a canvas coffin that she was being airlifted off the track and not even going up like they do. I mean, when you watch my one of my favorite shows, I binge watched a lot of Deadliest Catch. right? And when they have to do these rescues, it's absolutely mind-boggling that the guy repels himself into these raging seas that are right out of a perfect storm, and then somehow manages to gather up. I mean, it's not like the ocean is, looking like Lake Mead out there. I mean, it's raging. You ever try to get into a boat when there was even the slightest bit of turbulence in the water, Louis? Not the easiest thing
Yes,
to do.
yes, I have. I don't go well. I'm not.
These are 50-foot seas.
Yeah, that's not
And then
me.
they have the cable, and even under those circumstances where the wind has to be just absolutely impossible to contend with, they still bring the person into the helicopter before they fly off. Now in this case, you got Lindsey Vaughn. Did that not look like a canvas coffin, Luby? Where I mean, she's being held by a guy attached to a cable that they're ratcheting up. They're not even trying to bring it to the helicopter. It's dangling like 30, 40 feet below the chopper.
Yeah, they're like weird about it. They usually bring it in really
I
slow.
mean, my God. So to think that this woman and even contend that, oh well, how selfish was it of her to go out there? I don't know. I mean, you would also have to think that whoever's running the American USA Olympic skiing team is at least like questioning, hey, you sure you can do this?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
And probably wouldn't let her go out there unless they had some feeling that this wasn't going to be the thing that caused
look, I'm sure there was
the wreck.
conversations. It just felt weird. Like it felt weird that she had a catastrophic, and because that is catastrophic in the sense of an event in 2 weeks.
Well,
You
especially a sport.
well,
I mean, this isn't like she was. I mean, remember the Japanese guy that had the broken leg? He was on the still rings, and he had to stick a landing with a broken leg after going through. I mean, what is probably the most ridiculously arduous gymnastic event that you could be in. You ever tried to still rings? Not a lot of. I hate to say it again because I keep
hate it,
referencing the
man.
Jews like me from Brooklyn. I mean, we were no good on the still rings.
Nothing gymnastics. I didn't like the balance beam, the pump. I didn't like any of that stuff. Heights are not like I deal with heights when I
Pommel
know
horse. I
it's
mean,
safe.
forget about that.
I didn't like any of it. I did not. My brother was actually pretty decent at it. I did not like it at all. I just sat and watched. No, I'm good.
All right, so this guy's on the rings. Now he is doing it with a broken leg. They do a lot of like flipping around, and they do handstands and all of this other stuff on there. But you would have to say what the rings are more of an arm-oriented event than you can almost if a guy had a torn ACL, could he do it? But you have to do the dismount, Louis. Remember that's very Carrie Strug esque. But that was one of the most amazing moments in Olympic history, winter or summer games, when that guy does like a triple somersault coming off the rings there out of an iron cross and then lands. And I mean, he's landing on a broken leg, Luby. Holy Jack Youngblood. What are we talking about here? And sure enough, was it Youngblood? Who was the guy that had the broken leg? Was that Jack Youngblood? Yeah, I think so. Remember, we
Yeah,
had him on
it's the
the
guy
radio
that
a couple of
we
times.
would have on Radio Row. That was Jack
Yeah.
Young. He played for the Gators,
He
right?
was a real cowboy, wasn't he? I mean,
Oh my God, he was in his like 60s, and he it felt like he was gonna go ride a horse and go wrangle in some
yeah,
cat.
exactly.
It's like
So,
Jesus.
so anyway, I mean, if this guy hadn't been allowed to compete, you would have lost one of the great moments in Olympic history. Should he have been out there with a broken leg? Is it a wise idea? I don't think so.
Look, you bring up good points. Like once you have the spot, it's your spot. It's just at least when it first came out, it felt really weird. And again, Vaughn with her Tiger Woods stuff, and then her JJ Watt stuff. Like she's been sort of out there for a lot of celebrity type things. She hasn't skied in 5 years. She then has this major injury and is now trying. It felt selfish in the sense that she was putting her trying to go out with a bang over what could be the best for the team. Now, again, the team has a choice to give her that spot or not. That's on the team. That's not on us. So clearly, someone felt she's still Lindsey Vaughn in there, and it's worth a shot. See what she can do. And you said it. Look, when she did the trial, she was top 3. Okay,
She did all right. Yeah,
so she was clearly okay. She clipped some.
that's amazing
Okay.
in and of itself, isn't it? I mean, holy Dr. James
No,
Andrews. What are we talking about here? All right, we're going to get out of here for a while. Tony Segreto should be joining us for a little old school. Ed Garcia going to be with us as well. He may have the number one team in the country with his Michigan Wolverines. Here's Tony looking. I hope you got that clip I sent you. I'll ask you to
I did.
Help us figure out what the heck it was. All right, we're going to come back with Tony Segreto and Ed Garcia in a moment. Now that it's 8:37.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs unmatched. Steaks hand cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Joe Bees. The bees collect the pollen, bring it to Joe, he packages it, and he gets it to you. It's simple, 100% natural, and it's good for you.
There's only one place to get Joe Bees, and that's from me. Joe B.
If you want to look and feel good, call 877-300-5632.
What we gonna do right here is go back, way back into time.
We are now kicking it old school with the one and only Tony Segreto. Brought to you by Texas Roadhouse.
All right, welcome back to the show. Wednesday edition. That means we go old school with Tony Segreto. Tony Segreto, who I woke up to this morning, believe it or not. As I took a look at my phone, I shut off the alarm, which was about to go off. I ended up, it was on Facebook, and what do I see? I see a very young Joe Rose, and he's talking. I had my volume turned way down, so I don't know what he was saying. But then I see the caption, and it says, Joe Rose being interviewed by Tony Segreto. I don't know. You remember going out there, Tony? Did that clip?
Yeah, I remember that like it was yesterday.
Oh, yeah? Wow. Because it wasn't yesterday, man. It was like,
no, I know that. Hey, listen, you guys give me a great idea.
All right.
My Rose's family, Roseanne, my wife.
Yeah.
Her family married into a pickle family.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
They own their own pickle farm, and they sell their own pickles.
Oh, they gotta advertise with pickleball. Pickleballers.
Why not get associated with pickleball, and
My
how
God.
would your name be out there?
It's $1 million idea.
Really? You sure it's not happening already? I mean, how could any self-respecting marketing company not have a pickle association with pickleball?
I don't know. I don't, but
Yeah,
they
it's
don't.
weird. They haven't tied it in yet.
They should have a guy holding a pickle that has like a paddle on the end of it, and then telling you how much it's going to prevent cramps. Which
We're coming up with the
will.
concept for everybody right now.
It's crazy, right? Every sign should have a big pickle on it. I'm amazed that hasn't been capitalized on or taken advantage of. If it hasn't, I'm assuming that pickleball's been sort of popped on the scene. What has it been? 10 years already?
And get this: the name of the pickle company is Safety Pickles.
What is it? Skippy?
Safety
Pickles. Okay. Tony, why don't you get that going? I mean, what are you sitting on? I wouldn't even finish out the show. I'd be on the phone to
Yeah, I'll see you later.
the pickle company. All right. I'm assuming you must have been at some Winter Olympics, Tony Segreto. Well, what do you recall about it?
Yeah, Atlanta for sure. You talked about Atlanta.
Oh, a Winter Olympics though.
A winter? Oh, I don't know.
No, I never.
Never covered a Winter Olympics. NBC. I mean, didn't they have the Olympics? They weren't sending like Miami guys out there to see what was going on. There weren't any local athletes. We did have a speed skater.
They weren't going to send Miami guys.
Who was the speed skater though? There was a young lady.
Yeah, 1 year ago.
Did pretty well. I think it was like the last Winter Games, so she was good. That was an interesting story because, as they used to say before hockey came here, the only ice that you had ever heard of in South Florida was at the bottom of a martini glass, and that was it. But yeah, so that's always interesting when there's a girl, actually one of the top speed skaters is from Ocala
Yeah.
right now, and her name escapes me, but I don't recall. I've been to Ocala; it's been a long time. I don't
Yeah,
recall ever seeing any skating rinks up there.
I've really enjoyed the Olympics. I just really have immersed myself in their stories. This kid whose parents died and the plane crash. My
Oh
gosh,
yeah, wow.
just terrible. He's killing it, and Lindsey Vaughn. We heard her story, but there's great stories to tell, and but I've done lots of summer games.
Summer games, have things we're much more familiar with. But no, I'm baffled by a few things. It struck me, and Lubie's getting all over me about this because it's probably politically incorrect. But and maybe Ed Garcia's noticed this as well. You don't see any fat figure skaters.
Again, I think it's
touching that with a 10-foot pole.
I think it's impossible. It's like swimming. Like you expel so much
energy.
Calories. Doing figure skating is such an extensive sport, and again, you have to practice all day long. That like I think it's literally you could put it in. It's like in football. Like a lot of these guys taking so much food, but they're working out so much that I think it's almost impossible to be overweight and be a
professional. Have you ever seen any figure skaters at a Texas Roadhouse down in like the 32-ounce ribeye?
Not wearing their skates, that's for sure. So,
they're all super thin. I mean, they look like jockeys out there. It always impresses me when somebody's in that type of shape. But
they're in great shape.
Yeah.
The diets that they would do, and it wasn't even a diet. I would read about, I can't even believe the guy that went to Michigan, got X amount of gold medals, but like he had to consume like 18,000 calories a day or something like that. It's insane.
18,000?
Yeah, you have to have weight on you.
Fridge Perry, I don't think
you're eating like double Whoppers with extra mayo and just like it did nothing, absolutely nothing, just because they burned so many calories.
Yeah, not having double Whoppers.
But I wouldn't be able to move for a week.
I looked it up actually because I was thinking, I didn't mean this to be disparaging to people that are overweight, but you just at the top levels of figure skating, and you see all kinds of body types when you're out there, like Rockefeller Center or something at Christmas time. It's not like heavier people don't skate, but to do it at that level, right? I mean, you can't see them landing that quadruple axle or whatever it is that this kid, the quad guy, does. Are you watching a lot of Olympics, Ed? Have you been watching any? I think just if you're a sports fan, out of curiosity, you're bound to check it out if you have time. No,
I watched a little bit. We were watching actually a lot of basketball this last week. That was pretty enjoyable. Seeing North Carolina, Kentucky. There's a couple of really big games. The Michigan State game and Michigan Ohio State game was not a game, but. And then I don't know if you saw the Michigan State hockey game. That was incredible. They were down 3-1, but I didn't know this. It just happened to be on TV right after we got done with the slopes the other day, and they were down 3-1. Michigan was ranked number 1. Michigan State ranked number 2. Came back, tied it up 3-3 with just a couple minutes left, and then won in OT. I mean, couldn't have been any more magical. So I was pretty excited.
Yeah.
But Olympics, I know that they're starting soon. That's how I'm joking. I know that they kicked off, but I've been a little bit in and out and just I'm not in control of the remote, but it's been pretty interesting. That's for sure. I did see Lindsay decided to blow out her knees again. And that I did know. And I think I told you guys, I ran into her at the F1 this past year. 2025, that was pretty cool. Because she is quite a sight.
Yeah. I don't know. We've had an argument running here because one of our good pals, a professor who always has a bit of an extreme opinion, said she shouldn't be in there in the first place with a torn ACL. That would be an easy conclusion to draw, but I'm thinking that there's something different about these people. And I couldn't imagine that was just strictly a vanity thing. As you said, Ed, I mean, she's not short on recognition around the world. For her to go out there and do that, I mean, look, she literally was in like a canvas coffin, dangling from a cable from a helicopter going through mountain air to try and land so somebody could do a couple of surgeries and repair her injury. I don't think you do that because, you're just a show off of some sort.
Right. Yeah, you don't ski with 2 titanium knees. That is for sure. I can barely ski with 2 normal knees,
Yeah.
let alone 2 titanium ones. But from reading and talking to like a friend of her physician this past week, she definitely should not have been skiing. I guess she had like 0 cartilage, 0 tendons in the knees. Like it's not designed to do that, let alone. But hey, to each their own. You're right. She didn't have to do that. I'd take very good care of her if she wanted, but anyway.
People are going to remember that first thing when they think of Lindsey Vonn.
Agreed.
They're not going to think about all the records and the medals, and they're going to be focusing on that for at least for the shortcomings for the short time. But you can't fault her for wanting to compete.
No, I don't.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's amazing because to even stare that down under any circumstances, healthy or not, it's pretty daunting. I mean, I was always fascinated by this kind of stuff. I mean, the Acapulco Cliffs, one of my favorite wide world of sports events, and you're thinking, who the hell tried that for the first time? It's just like Lubie and I have been talking about, like ski jumping. Who tried it for the first time? It's not for the faint of heart. So
it's you watch the snowboarding. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. How they do that up and down, and they have to hit the rail just right. And oh my God, it's
crazy. Yeah, everybody's going splat. Hey, we did want to mention too, and we talked about this very briefly, but we didn't mention last night. Speaking of North Carolina, I'm glad you brought up college basketball. Ed Garcia, your University of Miami Hurricanes, Tony. After North Carolina had scored this dramatic victory over Duke, I happened to catch a good portion of that game the other night. And they win it on what was tantamount to a buzzer shot. 0.4 of a second turned out. We're left in the game. 3-pointer out of the corner. Guy swishes it, cool as a cucumber. They stormed the court. They had to clear everybody off and then throw a pass that went awry anyway. But North Carolina, coming off that victory, comes into Miami last night. What's going on with that, Tony? UM basketball. All right, I don't know that they're back to Larinaga level Final Four, but
they're close. They're really, really close. And they caught North Carolina at a good time because they just came off that big win. That North Carolina's down here, the sun, the fun, and they just blew it.
You think they put those bikini-clad babes on the quad on purpose by the pool and the North Carolina players?
You think?
Ed, what do you think? Was there anything underhanded going on there?
It's just standard operating procedure is what I call it.
Yeah, exactly. Use whatever advantage you have. Look, I'll give
100%.
We love Larinaga around here. Love Larinaga, and he did a really good job of UM putting them on the map, literally making them. You'd have to say a program. I mean, they won the ACC conference multiple times. They went to the Final Four. Had a really good shot at possibly winning a title. But the way Larinaga did it, it felt like every year he was trying to claw back, right? Like it didn't feel like he was building a program. It felt like every year he was just trying to survive. Lucas is doing it totally. Lucas is literally recruiting extremely well, and he's doing it ahead. Like he's come in with the Duke mentality. He was a Duke assistant. That was what, as an FSU fan, was annoying.
He is doing a great job of recruiting, Lubie. And to your point, Larinaga, you felt like he was always walking up a down escalator.
Yes.
That he was just trying to get to the top.
Yes.
And when he got there, he was winded. Yes. And yeah,
because you would see we did this every year, and the guy, I would get messages because we were honest, and you would see them struggle. They had 2 or 3 years in a row where they struggled, and the guy's like, well, we're really hurt. Yeah, but for 3 years in a row, you're really hurt. Like, that's why you build depth, and that's what Lucas is doing. Lucas is building a program, and he's doing a heck of a job. Like, in year one, to do what they're doing after what he's
doing a heck of a job. He is.
It's really impressive.
Yes. Will it ever catch on here? I mean, I remember Sam Jankovic. He was so elated, and I remember that whole campaign to get basketball back here. I was stunned when I moved here, and UM didn't have a basketball program. And I mean, it never quite got there. I know the ACC move was probably done, what, Tony, to enhance the basketball program at the expense of maybe football. Yeah, they did get to. I mean, that Final Four was just a remarkable Cinderella run. You don't know that they're going to do it again, but this guy, people are starting to take notice of it. Will it ever catch on here, though, Tony? Was my question. I mean, to the point where people actually.
If it hasn't yet,
Like it is about his Michigan Wolverines. About.
Well, I was going to say, Ed, because Michigan is a football school, Schembechler, the whole thing. But you've had enough consistent basketball success that it feels like you guys embrace both. Like how is it up there? Because Michigan State's similar football. They had a long run with Judd, but like they had a long run, and then Judd Heathcote with basketball. They both really have had success in both areas. Like it feels like you guys have found a way to promote both in a way that down here we've sort of struggled.
It's all about financials.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's money talks at the end of the day, especially now with the NIL. But no, the program has been for Michigan basketball. I mean, I don't know if you remember, it was Kentucky, probably going back about 14, 15 years ago. They really started to put themselves in the spotlight, just getting all the way in. And then if you remember, like the Fab Five, Fab Four, Fab Five, I mean, so. I mean, that was in the 90s. Chris Webber, I actually, when I was 15, got to play ball with him. He looked like he was 21,
really?
22. Well, we did, if you remember the name Joey Dumars.
Yes, I do.
Joey Dumars, yep. And Vinny Johnson. So the high school I went to, they did open gym every Tuesday. And Chris Webber went to Country Day, which was catty corner from my high school. And anyway, got some pretty cool opportunities. But they put Michigan on the map. They did get in some trouble because I forget what it was, a speeding ticket or something like outside of the school zone. So they were a little too far, which caused a little bit of problem. But Michigan's done a great job of rebuilding the program. And I think today basketball is just finding that, you find that elite point guard and you pay them enough, you can put yourself on the map with the team.
Well, from the fan support, though, like it feels like no matter how good Miami is, the fans don't really come. It feels like up there in Michigan, you guys do. You guys support basketball almost as much as you support football. So like I find that very intriguing.
Yes, there's not a lot to do in Michigan besides sports and drinking. So here you have
I was going to say, Ed, but I wanted with all due respect.
Yes,
there's not much to do in the winter.
Right.
Here, there's something to do.
Right. Yep.
It just never really sort of etched its way into the hearts. I mean, it's much like almost every team here. With the exception, and maybe this is fading a little bit too, of the Miami Heat. And now, even with a couple of championships, you don't see this big fever over Florida Panther hockey in South Florida, man. Are we the most indifferent sports town?
I was thinking this because we're so a melting pot of people now.
On that note, Tony just left.
See you later, Tony. Oh, there he is.
You melted away yourself to cyberspace there, Tony. All right, melting pot of people, you were saying.
Melting pot of people that there are some that just don't have the history of the basketball or of anything, of any sport. And I think that's starting to take effect going down the road because it's very delicate to speak here because you have to say that there are so many different ethnicities down here that they all got their own, they all have their own thing to do.
I don't know that I'm totally buying it. I mean, I had to get into those arguments many, many times with fans here in the years of doing sports talk. And I mean, there are a lot of Lubies here, like guys in their early 40s that this is their hometown. Much more so than say 40, 50 years ago. And we didn't have that many teams then. But it doesn't seem like, UM basketball, no matter what, it's a very hard thing. I almost forgot to bring it up, and they knocked off North Carolina last night. So
they did.
I don't know that it ever catches on. Meanwhile, what do you got? Are you going to be number one there, Ed Garcia, Dusty May?
Absolutely. Let's go blue. They're looking really, really solid. I think it's a pretty good bet, to just go ahead and get in now on March Madness. But bar no injuries, I think Michigan's going to put themselves on the map. But hey, we're also in our busiest week. Just FYI, I know
was just
Lubie
going to say, who's always on the
Saturday
map
is
at Texas Roadhouse.
Valentine's Day, and then a lot of people got a big 3-day weekend with President's Day, on Monday. So, we're ready. We stocked up. We got about 8,000 bottles of tequilas ready to rock and roll. Just to kind of help out the relationship a little bit. Take care of those ladies with some nice, spicy, and juicy margaritas. But hey, make sure to come check us out. Remember, we have that mobile app that is going to be absolutely crucial. It's already starting today. We'll be on some big weights, people trying to avoid the rush, but use that mobile app. You're going to be able to get in and out. Don't forget, we have that awesome bread pudding here in South Florida that you can enjoy. Nice. And just have a great weekend for Valentine's Day, President's Day, or just enjoy some Winter Olympics too.
Are you covered yourself personally for Valentine's Day? I know Tony is a hopeless romantic, and Lubie, he's admitted to being whipped, much like that biathlon guy admitted to cheating on his girlfriend. Well,
don't pay attention to him, Lubie. Don't pay attention.
I said it myself.
Yeah,
he admits
I'm working. You can find me in Lake Park this weekend. So on Saturday, I'm in Lake Park. Friday, I'll be in Port St. Lucie, and Sunday, I'm checking out some sites. Tony, I'm actually working with. It was the only day we could get in, but we're going to be, working. We did also get approved by the city of Davie for the site. So the countdown.
Now, do you have what building do you have? Do you have the old Tony Roma's?
No. The Flashback Diner. Do you remember where that one is? It was like next to McDonald's. Mm-hmm. I don't remember where that street is, but it's right. It's just east of University. So the one that heads north and south. But there was like Flashback Diner. I want to say like a Wendy's. There was like 3 spots in a row. All those are empty right now. And City of Davie approved a Texas Roadhouse. So we're pretty excited to continue to move the ball forward. Yeah.
That's
how long before? How long does the process go?
I will have more gray hair when that process.
Oh, really? Just like that? And you're involved in like that whole. You're involved in all of that.
Yeah, I mean, we have my broker and my attorneys, but yes, it really depends. As far as the city permits, approvals, lease. We'll go back and forth. On a word. That's on the contract, it could be and they want it spelled the or whatever. Who knows? It
could be a very
writing check. That's all we do.
There's an empty Tony Roma's or something in the Davie Shopping Center, I think.
Tony, it took me this long to get this far. I am not starting over.
Right. Congratulations, Ed, on all of that and your Michigan basketball team success.
Sir.
Tony, we'll see you too. Ed Garcia, ladies and gentlemen, Texas Roadhouse Restaurants. Great idea for Valentine's Day. All right, Lubie, a lot of fun. We will catch you tomorrow, of course, right here on the show. Should have the trivia challenge working. And get in a little competition right here on the program. Right up there with curling is the mental challenge of Dave Gurgles Gurgley and the long-running trivia challenge. All right, for Lubie, I'm Jeff DeForest. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
No fat figure skaters, man. The first one that comes along is going to be like Butterbean Esh, like a sensation. Doesn't even have to be that good. Just
I don't think it's possible. Your body can't.
Like Kiridesh Effie Barnrat, our favorite of all time. Fat golfer. All right. Did we do this thing? It's 9:01.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.